See, Roy had a problem. At 18, he thought professional football had passed him by. Some of his teammates had been invited for trials at English clubs, but Roy never was. Roy left school with 0 qualifications. He showed no interest. Teachers asked him to go to the computers. He just turned them off and said, "This is not for me." All he wanted to do was play football. See, at 18, Roy worked multiple different labouring jobs, and he earned £50 a week with Cove Ramblers, his team in Ireland. But Roy wanted more, a lot more. He wrote to multiple different English clubs. Not one replied. Roy's team makes it to the national final, and a scout called Noel, he was representing Nottingham Forest at the time, was there to watch a winger on Roy's team. He crumbles under the pressure, but Roy doesn't. In the end, the scout's attention goes to Roy. The team are 4-0 down, but Roy does not give up. And despite his team losing, he stands out massively. After the game, the scout meets Roy, and he tells him, "I want you to come to Nottingham Forest for a trial. What clubs have you had trials at previously?" Roy tells him, "None." In his trial, Roy shows exactly how good he is, and Nottingham Forest sign him for £30,000. Now he's under Brian Clough. With Brian, you either sink or swim. Roy's home debut, he comes off towards the end. He's had a good game. Brian grabs him by the head. Roy's a bit confused, but Brian knows he's definitely found a diamond. It's not long until Roy sees the other side of Brian Clough. Roy plays a back pass to the keeper, but it's short. The keeper tries to clear it, lands to the opposition. They lob him and score. After the game, the players go back to the dressing room. No Roy or Brian. Brian goes straight up to Roy. "Young man, don't you ever pass back to my goalkeeper again." Boom. At Forest, Roy shows his potential. He makes it to the FA Cup final, but Forest do get relegated. But the only question mark above Roy's head is he used to go back to Cork after his games with Forest, even flight, just to make the last orders at his local pub. And he'd also regularly find himself in trouble and appearing in the papers. But that did not stop Alex Ferguson in highlighting Roy Keane to take Man United to another level. United were that confident in Roy Keane, they broke the British transfer record, £3.75 million, an on-field embodiment of Sir Alex Ferguson. A relatively good disciplinary record. 5 years of playing in the English top flight, 0 red cards, and that was all about to change. Roy's first red card for United. He's fouled and they catch his ankle, and at half-time, he has to have 8 stitches in his ankle. After the game, he ends up on crutches as well. They tell him, "Roy, you're going to have to come off." He says, "Nope, just give me 10 minutes, let me see how I get on." So Roy goes back out for the second half, just 10 minutes. What can happen? Gareth Southgate comes flying into a tackle, catches Roy's ankle. Does Roy act in a calm, level-headed fashion? Straight red card for his foot placement. See, a pivotal point in Roy's career was against Leeds. Leeds were 1-0 up and the game was closing out. Roy was still a little bit hungover. A couple of days ago he was out drinking, and at 4 AM he got into a scrap with United fans who are from Dublin. And Alfie had been irritating Roy all game. So Roy lunges at Alfie, nowhere near the ball. In the process, snaps his own cruciate ligament, which in terms of football is not good and can be career ending. Alfie stands over him and says, "Get up, you're faking it, get up." And Roy took this personal and he will not forget it. His season, over. His rehabilitation starts. At the same time, he's going out a lot. Sir Alex Ferguson even tells the whole team, if anyone is seen with Roy Keane drinking, you're going to get a big fine. But something inside Roy snaps, and he realises drinking is causing most of his problems. So Roy devotes himself to training and his diet, taking it more serious than ever. Roy returns, and United are on for the treble, but it's the last leg of the semi-final of the Champions League. Juventus are 2-0 up within 12 minutes. Inzaghi brace. United are in the mud, but Roy drags them out, scoring a header in the 24th minute. Roy looks at the Juventus players, and they look defeated. He realises, game on, we can do this. But he makes a reckless tackle and gets a yellow card. He's racked up too many red cards, and this means he'll miss the final if Man United do make it. But Roy goes on to have one of the greatest games he's ever had. He's getting the better of Edgar Davids, Zizou, and United end up winning 3-2, going through to the final. After the game, Roy's asked how he feels. He says, "Yeah, I'm disappointed, but nobody is bigger than the club." Of course, United do go on to win, and Roy watches from the stands. He celebrates with his team. They've won the treble, it's massive. The team goes back to the dressing room, and Roy overhears a few conversations. Best moment of my whole career. If I win nothing ever again, I'll be happy, because we've done the treble. And Roy says, best moment of your career so far. Alarm bells are ringing in his head. This team is complacent, deeply concerned of Man United's future. Despite being an incredible player, the most iconic moment on Roy's career for most people is this moment right here. 3 years later, he had definitely not forgotten what Alfie said to him. Even in the tunnel, he told the ref, "You might as well book me now." The perfect opportunity lined up. It was on a plate for Roy, and he demolished it. Roy said, "An eye for an eye." Now Roy stood over Alfie and said, "Take that." Amongst a few other things, see, people undecided if this really ended Alfie's career, because Alfie hints that it did. He ended up playing the full match, but he never played a full 90 minutes ever again. Alfie had a relatively long injury list, so in reality, this probably just sped up his retirement. But see, Roy began to lose control more often. He went for Alan Shearer, got a red card. The next day, Roy's thinking about walking away from the game because he can't control himself on the pitch sometimes. So he has a meeting with Sir Alex Ferguson. Tell Sir Alex, am I trying too hard? Am I doing too much? I cannot control myself. Sir Alex says no. Serve your suspension, go on a break and come back. United need you back. See, Sir Alex knew Roy played on the edge, and sometimes it spilled over, but it also won football matches. Roy received 13 red cards throughout his career. For Sir Alex, that was acceptable for the amount of trophies that he won too. See, for Roy, it was never a quest for success, but a fear of failure. The feeling of losing he couldn't handle. And his international career, that's another video in itself. But Roy carried the hunger he had when he didn't think he'd make it as a pro, and that's what made him the player he was.